Chapter 2879 continues the engaging and heartwarming interactions between the Buckham and Karen families as they navigate the early stages of their relationship, solidifying the bonds between them while preparing for a family meal. The chapter opens with Kenneth, Kiara's brother, chatting with Mr. and Mrs. Buckham in the Karen family hall. Mr. Buckham, known for his forthright and jovial nature, quickly strikes up an enthusiastic conversation with Kenneth, despite their age difference. Their conversation becomes so lively that it seems they might become sworn brothers, if not for Julian's timely intervention to bring breakfast to his parents. Mrs. Buckham discreetly kicks her husband several times, reminding him of the delicate familial situation and preventing the awkward potential of Julian having to navigate a confused generational hierarchy. Julian, ever the considerate son, invites his parents into the dining area to enjoy the breakfast prepared by Mrs. Caron. He informs them that he and Kiera have already eaten and that they plan to go out for grocery shopping to prepare lunch. Mrs. Buckham eagerly volunteers to join, expressing a desire to enjoy the snowy scenery, and subtly ensures her husband agrees to prevent any further generational confusion. Mrs. Karen, emerging from the kitchen, humbly apologizes for the simplicity of the breakfast and warmly invites the Buckhams to suggest their preferences for lunch. Mrs. Buckham, embracing the notion of familial unity, responds graciously, emphasizing that they consider themselves family and are not picky eaters. This mutual display of humility and respect underscores the growing bond between the two families. The conversation turns to a light-hearted comparison of their children. Mrs. Buckham, in an unguarded moment, refers to Mrs. Karen as her in law and praises Kiera as a good girl, contrasting her with Julian, whom she humorously calls a jerk for his previous antics. Mrs. Karen reciprocates with kind words about Julian, describing him as young, promising, mature, steady, and good tempered, qualities she deems superior to her own daughters. This exchange of compliments and banter further cements the camaraderie between the families. Mr. Buckham adds a touch of humor by pretending not to recognize the glowing description of Julian, teasing him about being uncharacteristically praised. Julian, slightly embarrassed and desperate to maintain his composed image, urges his parents to eat their breakfast quickly before it gets cold, hoping to divert the attention away from himself. He reflects on his contrasting reputations. In Real Spoon, he is a formidable figure, yet here with his family, he is playfully teased and humbled. Throughout the morning, his inner anxieties about Kiara's feelings linger. Despite her continued kindness and the lack of outright rejection, she has yet to give him a definitive answer about their future. His nervousness is palpable, but he remains hopeful and determined to win her heart. Half an hour later, the families set off for grocery shopping. Julian and Kiara take Mr. and Mrs. Buckham out, embracing the opportunity to spend more time together and enjoy each other's company. The decision to shop together signifies a deeper level of integration between the two families, with Julian's parents participating in the everyday activities of the Karen household. The chapter illustrates the importance of familial bonds and mutual respect in building strong relationships. The Buckham's willingness to engage with the Karen family on a personal level and the Karen's reciprocal hospitality highlight the growing connection between the two families. His efforts to balance his image and maintain his composure in front of both his parents and Kiera reflect his deep commitment to forging a lasting bond with her.